Okay, I think we are live. How's it going today, everybody? Welcome back. It hasn't been that long since the last stream. Wait, there? Oh, dang it. I hit refresh now. Hope you're all having a good Thursday. I will send it out. Um, so, hello, Cornbread, Super Dusky, Pup. Sorry to anyone I noticed on my Patreon it sent out. I want to hear it from there. Oh, hey, Super Dusky. Hey, Pup. It sent out the tomorrow and today ones on the same day, so I'm sorry if that annoyed anyone, and or why some people probably don't know about it because they didn't get a day in advance. So I apologize for that. That sucks. It did go out everywhere else, but I understand. It's okay. It happens. But I do feel a little bad about that because you don't want, you want things to run smoothly. However, hello, Purple Goop, Sorberdusky, Austin, Cornbread, Athanafoga, Zodberg, everybody who is here. I think we're going to have a good, cool show. Um, yes. Sorry, I'm a little more tired this week. I think doing this really early in the week takes it out of you in a way. But let's go. Hey, what's up in the kitchen as always? Yeah, not too much has happened, but I didn't really get to talk about certain things. Well, some stuff has happened. Um, but the Oscars did happen. I'm not talking about any Oscar stuff. So if you're like, is he going to talk about the same shit? I am not at all. This is the news one. It was the Oscar one. I have a suspicion this one might be shorter, but I am not sure. However, anyway, all right. So, what did I want to talk about? A few things. Other than that, the Oscars happened. That was fun. I talked about all. I feel like as soon as I did that stream, I'm like, I don't. We don't need to talk about. Nobody needs to talk about the Oscars anymore. No more. No more Oscars. We're done Oscars. Um, I actually have an interesting energy drink tonight. I think you'll see. You'll see. Let's see. Things that have happened since. So the Princess Peach thing, I posted that on Saturday. I was gonna do. Here's the thing. I was gonna do. Oh, I really rushed. I didn't think I rushed that much. Well, I just wanted to get everything, but yeah, true, true cornbread. Yeah, we went to the Princess Peach thing, which I think is still up. It was up. They acted like I guess it's just the taking pictures thing with the chair, but Sophie and I got to go and take pictures with it, and that was fun. I'm hoping they do more Mario stuff. If they do around the city, I'll do more of that. I like doing that song. I was really proud of that remix. Actually, I thought that worked out. I think it's Koopa Beach or something. The other thing is I saw this movie. Oh yeah, but it was gonna be Oscar Facts 3, but then we shot some stuff and I needed to shoot more stuff, and Oscar wasn't into it, and I just was like, if you're not into it, then we're just not gonna do it. So maybe it'll come back next year, maybe it won't. But I don't want to force my kids to make stuff. I did ask like a few times, but it was like I know because you're never sure if kids are just saying that. But it was pretty clear you didn't want to do it. So no, it, we did shoot some of it, and the peach thing was gonna like come out later, but I was like, well, oh well. But okay, so I was gonna see Hello Jordan Salafalo. I was gonna see that movie Undertone this week. I was gonna see it, right? And I was like all excited, but then I saw the only screens had open captions that worked within my schedule, which means there'd be like captions there. And I understand there's like people have hearing problems, there's various reasons. I didn't want to see that movie with the audio like explaining shit to me, so I didn't see it. But now I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna see it. So I have seen two movies with captions that aren't like a foreign film with subtitles, which would be Elemental and Predator Badlands. But I just thought a movie that has to do with sound design that doesn't sound good. I don't know. I'm fine with theaters having them. Just didn't work out for me in my schedule. but I keep seeing that happen more. It's more common than it used to be. Or maybe it's just fucking with my schedule, and so it's more brought up than it used to be. I don't know. And I don't know, it was interesting. And the other thing is I saw the movie Loser, which was an Amy Heckerling. She directed Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And hey, KKVB. Um, and I never seen it. I always heard about it. It was Jason Biggs with really dumb hair and Mira Sorvino. Not Mira, um, whatever. She was in American Beauty and stuff. Hey, Dan, how's it going? And Greg Kinnear's actually in as well. And I had never seen it, and I saw it, and it was actually okay. It's not bad. It was just like I wish I'd seen it in like 2002. But it's where the Weeda song "Teenage Dirtbag," like the video. Mina Savari. Is it Mina Savari? Anyway, she's in American Pie and American Beauty. I think the only person. And Loser. And I actually thought it was like a decent, okay movie. What's up, Javier Portello? So I apologize. So yeah. I thought I had stuff to talk about. Sorry. Okay. Um, the other thing is, I know we've done 2 streams this week, which this one was poorly advertised, Patreon wise at least. Uh, okay. Good point, Cornbread. I mean, I have noticed it before. I don't mind it, but it was just like specifically that movie. I was like, I don't know if I want to like. If they hear something weird, I don't want the caption to tell me what it says. You know, that was my personal issue with it. They can do those screenings. I don't have a problem. I'm just like I don't want to do that. But Predator, Badlands, and Elemental, I don't. I do hate though when you're seeing a caption thing and it goes music, and I'm like, I don't. Does that help anybody? I don't know. When it says stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know about that. What was the other thing? Okay. So streaming will go back to sort of normal just every Thursday. Because on Hey Gary, what's up? Because on what's it? Oh I get because I actually have some time, nobody's around on April 4th, which is the first Saturday of April. I'm going to do kind of a what I'm going to call a fuck around stream, a mess around stream, and upbeat music. Nice. Um, because of that, yeah, because I've always wanted to do like, hey, mess around with my phone streaming, or um, or do like, there's an option to have this go to the shorts feed, and I kind of don't want to like mess up talking about other stuff to do that. So because I'm just stuck with that apparently, if I turn it on, it's that way the whole stream. I can't like have it on for a little bit. Or like just do things like stream on TikTok or Instagram during it, which I've never done. I'm always curious like how that would work. Maybe it would work with me or something. So it's literally just to test out shit. It will probably be like an hour or so. It won't be like, I don't want to overexhaust you guys and streaming and stuff like that. So um, don't think it's like that. It's just I really do need to test things out. So just be advised, it'll probably only be one post about that the day of or something, but I'll talk about it beforehand. So probably be like 10-ish, I'd say. So I like doing it late night and stuff. But yeah, so just be advised. I don't know if there'll be in any other extra streams for the rest of the year. I've thought about other ideas, but I didn't like them. So I didn't do them, basically. All right. Let's just get into it because I feel like anyway. Um, I do have a pretty cool energy drink that I'm curious about. So whoever is the first one, let me know. But anyway, this and everything I do. Hey, it's Thursday. This is the news one. This. I know we did Oscars. That was just Oscars. This is news stuff. Anyway, yeah. I don't think anyone expected one. I'm getting getting the vibes, but whatever. All right, this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Superchats during the show where I'll drink this energy drink that you don't. When I get a super chat, I'll reveal it. Um, Or when we get to $20, I'll have these lights flash. To $40, we'll heal Godzilla. Godzilla, don't take him down. Don't take the lights down. Okay, like those. We got the fight one. When we get to $40, he'll do his mighty roar. And I have this cool thing, which was different last time, because they're messing with it for this thing they're doing. So the last one, that was the only time it appeared anywhere. Nobody else saw it. So this, I think, is how it's going to appear with tinfoil and stuff is like an award. But that's kind of neat. Anyway, but yeah, this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans. These are super chats during the show where I will drink my energy drink, which will give me more energy. The $20 is that. The $40 multiple is that. And or you can join my Patreon, which is linked below in the description. You get all sorts of cool stuff like more power in the movie review vote. You get my commentary series. You get postcards. Hello, Medela Butterfly. You get postcards. You get all sorts of cool stuff like that, as well as access to my public access show, which is pretty cool. If you would like to do that. And yes, but if you're financially able to do so, if not, liking and subscribing very much helps the show and helps me to continue to do this. And all that. But if not, yeah, just subscribing, turn notifications if you would like to. Just liking and subscribing helps. But if you are just watching, that is support, and thank you very much for being here. Rand Sam Film, hey, with the first super chat said, I am getting my bachelor's in filmmaking next year. Congrats, man. I have one, and it's always cool to do that. Best of luck, man. I hope. Where are you going? I'm curious where you are doing that at. But hey, you can learn a lot doing that. All right, so here is, I found this, and I did not find this at the grocery store. I'll have you know. I wanted to get the one with like the monkey with all the intense gear or whatever the fuck in that, but wait, what? Okay, but I got the oh wait, I need the, sorry, I feel like I'm very off. Grape crayon ghost. It's new. It says new. I like that new thing. Anyway, oh, we got a bunch there. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to try this. I hope it is good. We'll see. Interesting smell. Okay, you know, before I do the other super chats, I want to say this. I don't know if you knew this, but like, I think it's not Welch's, but the other cranberry company, is it like Ocean Spray? They're like a what's it called? A co-op company. Um, it's like all the farmers who are involved own a piece of it. It's like probably the most like coolest company that we could think of, which is actually pretty amazing. I don't know. People don't talk about it. I think it's Ocean Spray, but like they're actually multiple, like they're a co-op company. So you like own a piece of it if you're a farmer who's providing it, which I think is cool. We should, I think it's Ocean Spray. I think I saw that on that Company Man channel, which I haven't watched in a while, YouTube channel. But I remember him saying that. I always think about the Ocean Spray. Anyway, Blacksy says, I'm sorry I'm late. Got a new phone I'm hooking up. Oh, that's always like an intense thing. Phones are so personal nowadays. Cheers to you, Blacksy. And Mandela Butterfly with the 106. I love the cheers to you. I like the. This actually, this works out. But yeah, I'm not sure. Someone look up the Ocean Spray thing because I'm not 100% on my crazy theory there. Okay. Oh, come on. Really? We're doing. Okay. Now, YouTube's just being. I think YouTube's like, why are you streaming again? That's annoying. All right. Also, we have the Discord, which is run amazingly well. Are you guys? I think you're doing a movie watch this week. I'm not 100% on that, but it's run insanely well by Cornbread, Austin, Zane Powers, and Ryan Wilcherson. They do an amazing job running that Discord channel, and it's really cool. And I even asked, like, what do you want me to talk about on Movie Crap this week? And they tell me, or they tell me things I should talk about, as well as the thumbnail predictions from Cornbread and all sorts of cool stuff like that. It's this Friday they're doing Clowning Chance and Meatballs. Awesome. As well as I actually have new cards because my kids poured water on my Metro playing cards. I won't tell you which kid, but you can probably figure it out. But they're kind of ruined. So I got out these cool James Bond cards, and I'm not the biggest. I've seen every Bond. I made a mission to do that, but they're kind of cool because they have a lot of foreign posters in here, and I think that is the playing card I like most, where it's like a film franchise and they have multiple different ones, and like what country is this? Is this like I don't know what country that is, but it's cool. This part not so cool, but I'll put this in the licensed playing card channel. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't introduce that correctly, but I think it'll be pretty cool. Anyway, all right. I think I said everything. Let's keep going. All right. So the first and biggest thing I think this week, probably, and this is why I'm leading the show with it, is the Spider-Man brand New Day trailer. This trailer, I'm surprised we waited so long for this. I'm assuming they're putting it out so I can play before Hail Mary, which supposedly is going to do well. I'm like, oh, okay. You guys seem to really be pushing. I hope the Ryan Gosling thing, box office wise, works out. But we did get the brand new Day trailer, which looks very cool. I didn't plug my socials. Okay, well, follow me on Twitter. I haven't done that in a while, actually. I should do that more. I'm on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. I mean, I'm on TikTok. I have a TikTok, but I don't really use it right now. I'm not sure if I'm going back to that. Facebook, YouTube, all those things. They're linked in the description of all my videos, so check it out if you haven't. I mean, I'll talk about this Chikwa thing later. All the trailers are first. This is kind of Spider-Man and other trailers. I feel like Sinram doesn't know about this because I fucked up the announcement. Anyway, so this is the brand new Day trailer. It is taking place right after No Way Home, or not right after, but after the events of No Way Home. MJ and the God of Sex, I believe, do not know who he is, and they're bringing back. Yes, they're right. Embassy, you're right. Scorpion's coming back. All this stuff. But here are my main takeaways. One, I like that Spider-Man is fighting like multiple villains. I think that's actually really cool. I don't know if that's just like one sequence or something. That's sort of been hyped up a bunch before. Sorry, Garrett, I missed your thing about the bride, but I do want to see that. I think I'm gonna end up missing it, but anyway, I'll scroll back. I apologize. But I do like him fighting multiple different villains. That looks cool to me. I wouldn't even mind if it's like a personal thing and he just like is changing and fights little bit, although it seems like there's somebody who switches people's bodies and stuff or something. I was fine with the Mark Ruffalo thing, but I was also like, does he know who Spider-Man is? Like did they even interact in any of the Avengers movie? Like I can't remember them ever sharing a moment together. Like maybe there's a moment in Endgame where he takes off his mask. I guess they're both at Tony Stark's funeral, right? So maybe they met then. I don't know. Anyway, that part was cool. I like the Punisher stuff. I thought that was kind of neat. Especially him kicking him through the window. That's a very Spider. I like when they do Spider-Man does Spider-Man shit. As well as, but the main thing, I'll be totally honest, this isn't me being silly. When I heard Keith David's voice, I was like, what? Keith David's in this? I'm here for it. I will see anything with Keith David in it. Keith David is awesome. Anytime he shows up in something, I love that voice. He was the best part of Shelby Oaks. That's what everyone says. The one day he showed up, I feel like he showed up for an hour ago. Like, is the lighting right? Let's do it. Chris Suckman. I don't know who that is. But no, I like Keith David a lot, and but they don't tell you who he's playing. Who's Keith David playing? I don't care about the Punisher and the Hulk and Scorpion and Ninja guys in a jail, maybe. I don't understand any of that. But like Keith David, what's he like? Seriously, what is Keith David? Is Keith David? I don't know. I don't know. It does look actually cool, but it looks like very continuity heavy. But I think it's also like how the Marvel thing used to work, where it's like heavy on the continuity, but the continuity is something everyone keeps up with, and No Way Home was like I think like one of the biggest Marvel movies, right? I think it's like I don't know. I like yeah, I don't know the official gross, but I think it's like the biggest one that in uh I think it's the biggest one that isn't an Avengers movie. I'm like pretty confident about that. Anyway, uh but yeah. Oh, he's in Aspen Hotel. Yeah, I didn't really watch that either. Yeah, they did invite Markiplier. You know why I think they invited Markiplier to the Oscars and not Stuckman is because Markiplier well made an interesting movie, let's put it that way. But also self-distributed, and I think they sort of had to like it's like I think he made a better uh presentation of himself. Whereas Stuckman was just like, I'm a horror filmmaker doing that. So I don't know. Yeah, it did look like the hand or the ninjas in that and stuff. But it looked I mean, to be honest with you, I was hyped for it. I think it looks cool, continuing chapter and stuff. I am like I kind of thought it'd be more interesting if Peter had moved on more. Like he had a girlfriend or something. But I don't know. I used to tell people like when people have a key to a city that really you have to lock up the city at night. Anyway. No, Iron Lung is 100% better than Shelby. Like the thing is, Iron Lung isn't perfect, but Iron Lung is like it's interesting. It's like thought provoking. Shelby Oaks, like I don't think I would say that's thought provoking at all. Like it's kind of like it's better to have a movie you want to talk about in the long run. And I think Mark like Iron Lung is a movie you can talk about. Also, it has a sea of blood. Like that's pretty. I mean, sense Iron Lung is both smarter and dumber, and that's the two things you should always be. Um, the other thing with um oh yeah, that's true. Sadie Sink isn't in the trailer at all. What is she playing? Is she the shaking that like the hoodie person doing Marvel with their like I'm wearing a hoodie and stretching my arms. They did this thing the day before where they kept releasing clips. That was insanely obnoxious. Like I stopped giving a shit. Like I do think like this era of superhero things like we all know it's sort of in decline, but then they'll do things like let's do a 12-hour live stream where we show the back of seats. Like come on guys, it's not 2018. What are we doing here? You know, I just that anyway. Nathaniel Fogg, it's not a Spider-Man story unless he's miserable. That's a good point. I did see several people um uh uh I did see several people bring up like Spider-Man fans are like, yes, he's miserable. Like, I mean, it's sort of a Spider-Man thing, but cheers to you, Nathaniel Fogg. Gary, I'll get to you in a second. That is so. I think uh I've seen YouTubers be upset of like, or specifically, what was that guy at the Oscars who's a TikTok person I never fucking heard about in my life. And when I checked him out, I was like, I don't get it. Like, not in a like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't get like why you guys like him because he's on the red carpet answering all these dumb questions. But I think it's like a lot of them. Uh, I think a lot of them just like expect this sort of thing, but you have to do work to do something. And like I talk to people who think like do not understand how to make something or do YouTube. I've talked to so many people who like, well, if I had a YouTube channel, here's what I would do, and it's like so convoluted and complicated. I'm like, you first off, these are terrible ideas, and second, like, how would you set that up? Like, how would you advertise that? How would you? And I think a lot of people don't think of that. And to me, like when I saw what he did, like he was a distributor, he bought the rights, he clearly like mapped these things out, worked as a performer, like all these things, and like I think like people don't think about that. So I think they just think I don't know. I think too many people are like, well, he did that. I should get that. I'm like, no, you can't yell at the manager at Target to get your career better. That's not how it works. Maybe it does. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, all right. In the next trailer, this is a very loose, silly stream. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is maybe I should have done the the vertical thing today. No, I don't know about. We'll see. Anyway, all right. Dune 3. Yes, there's a trailer for Dune 3. Visually, this looks insanely impressive. I will talk the Dune 3 Doomsday thing is I'll talk about that later, by the way. But just the trailer for Dune 3 right now looked really impressive. I'm a little surprised because my dad's a big Dune fan and he never really liked anything past Dune, and most of his friends are into Dune and the same opinion. So I'm a little like, is this gonna be what people want it to be? Because I don't remember anyone liking it as much. I also learned a lot of people think he's like a hero. I always thought he was like a scummy guy deceiving everyone. So I'm a little curious like what he does as a leader going forward. I think it'll be wait, Keith David was never announced, but that's his voice. That's his voice in the thing. That's Keith David. I'm sorry. Uh Gary, yeah. Look at me. No, I agree. No, Dune 3 looks really cool. Like the visuals look amazing. Denis Villeneuve is really selling. Like, look, I mean, I'll give him this. Like, he's very good at like doing the dark, moody post Christopher Nolan thing, but he's also really pushing the amazing visuals, and he's a very good visual filmmaker. He's really good at doing the sci-fi thing in so an original way and stuff like that. I do think he's leaving this on oh, it was never announced. Okay, that's interesting. But it I don't know. I really liked everything I saw in this. I'm very excited to see it. I'm not as obsessed as everyone else with the Dune stuff, but I did like two a lot actually. But I noticed when I watched one again, I really liked two. So maybe when three comes out, I'll watch one and two together because I don't remember. Austin Butler was the weird guy, and like I don't. I guess he's dead, right? But Momo is back. I don't know. Anyway, we got a teaser for Sonic 4, which I am assuming is to play before Mario. I don't know that for sure. I always think, by the way, when trailers come out, I'm like, well, this was made for a advertising purpose, not just for YouTube. Like, there's like a movie it's going to play before, and they never say that in the announcements. And I'm like, I mean, come on, just tell me. Somebody knows. Um, he face shapeshifts. Is that what he does? Okay, I did like what was it Zendaya recently was like. I've never seen Twilight, so I watched it. I thought that was funny. Do some reach. She's like, I had to research this guy. So, all right. We got a Sonic 4 teaser. We got the full cast announcement, which wasn't like a ton of cast to be 100% with you. Uh, um, it didn't show you a ton of the cast or anything, but it was like Jim Carrey's coming back. We're getting Matt Berry, Richard Ayoade, all basically it looked cool. It's a very quick thing. It's barely worth talking about, but it's cool that like a significant amount of time early in the journey. But I do also think Sonic is like a property where it's worth it, but like I think it's obviously before Mario. I think that's what they're doing here. So, in other trailers, before we talk about Austin's favorite thing, I guess, Shaun the Sheep, the Beast of Mossy Bottom. I like this trailer. It looked like a lot of fun. I think it actually makes a lot of sense because both the other uh the other Shaun the Sheep, one is sci-fi and one is just Shaun the Sheep. So this is horror, which I think is like, okay, well, if you're gonna keep making Shaun the Sheep things, but do a different genre, and it's a Halloween thing, and they've done what I find to be a really good Christmas special. So I was like, yeah, this like checks off a lot of boxes, and I'm gonna take my kids, and I love Shaun the Sheep, and it looked like a lot of fun. So I'm hoping this works out, uh, um, financially for them and stuff because the other two are really good. And I actually really uh like cartoons that don't have dialogue, so I'm like super actually excited for this. But it looks really, I don't know, I'm like, I am so down for a new Shaun the Sheep. I hope they keep making them forever. And before I talk about Buffy, I guess the Chippewa trailer, I don't understand what these guys are, but they're on a boat and they're these little things. I don't get it. Why does Austin like, why do Salty likes these things now? he's supposed to be liking Alf, and he likes these Chippewas. Are they all called Chippewa, or is one of them called Chippewa? I don't get it. Austin offered to explain this to me, and I refuse because the Chippewas should speak to me. Five Nights at Freddy's, I'll be relatively chill about, but Chippewas, no, they have to come to me. The Chippewas. Is this coming out as a movie? I don't understand. I mean, they're cute, I guess, but I don't understand this at all. But yeah. Um. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about the Buffy reboot, which I think is I don't understand what Cornbread's so the Buffy reboot, this is kind of in my mind one of the sadder end reboots because they had so many big people involved. Obviously not Joss Whedon. But Sarah Michelle Gellar, with two screenwriters, I think it was two pretty big screenwriters. It's going to be called Buffy, the new was it Buffy New Sunnyvale, which is where Buffy's originally from. She's supposed to be a yeah, it was like a screenwriter who really wanted to do it. Or no, two siblings who wrote for Poker Face wrote the script for New Sunnydale on spec. Actually, Chloe Zhao was going to do it. Um, okay, I don't know what these Chikwa things are. Right? How about this? When the movie comes out, someone can maybe I'll see this Chikwa movie. Maybe I'll see this. Um, but it was announced that they're not moving forward with this reboot, and it was sort of announced on Oscar weekend, which a lot of people thought was not cool. Which I agree. Like Chloe Zhao's like gonna. I also thought it was kind of dumb because um a lot, Sarah Michelle Gellar is on a press tour. Chloe Zhao is about to go on, the year's biggest red carpet. I'm not a big red carpet interview person, but it's a pretty big one. And you just gave all the reporters something for them to talk about. So if you didn't want this reboot to be, talked about after it was canceled, you did a really bad job. I just don't understand that. But supposedly they were making that. They did have a certain amount of re rewrites and reshoots, and um, supposedly the idea was that Buffy was now a insurance agent or something, and she kept getting a flood of new claims for Sunnydale, sorry, and decide to go back and see what was up, and there was a new Slayer and all these things. And Chloe Zhao was very into it and wanted to direct the pilot because, oh, by the way, if you didn't know, I don't know, this is like an industry thing. If you ever see why does a big director direct a pilot, if you direct a pilot, you technically get to own a piece of the show, and so you don't ever need to do anything else. You just direct the pilot because that sets the style and the tone and like how you direct an episode of it. So if you direct the pilot, you get a piece of the show. So that's why like Scorsese did Boardwalk Empire. That's why like I think there's like a huge example of like big directors doing a pilot of a show that everyone knew was going to be pretty big, and they will just like start it off. They'll like here's how you do it, all this stuff, and then they bounce and then they just get a check in perpetuity as long as the show exists, which I think is like kind of not. I don't know how I feel about that, but anyway, but it did sound like they were kind of trying to go for a different thing. But according to Sarah Michelle Gellar, who posted a thing on Instagram, there was a certain Hulu executive, which most people believe to be the head of Hulu, or I think was identified as the kind of one of the lead executives of Hulu, because the one overseeing it was Craig Erwick, because she said he very much admitted he didn't like the show, he never watched it, which is kind of a weird, and was not really for this reboot because there was so much hype around it. I'm a little like lost on it. Um, I kind of find this whole thing ridiculous because it was so high profile. Like you could have at least been like, well, we'll release the pilot. We have a big director. We have Sarah Michelle Gellar is back. She's been in a few things recently. We could just like sell this to get some views. And if like no one likes this pilot, hey, we're right. And the public, suppose anyone I know who tweeted about reading it said it was kind of a little too much of the old and not enough of the new writing wise. But I don't know what version of the script they all got, so I'm not 100%. Um, I kind of think the problem with it is if they had gotten like Drew Goddard, who wrote for Buffy, or somebody from the old crew, I sort of think like writing crew is not Whedon, but as move on, like Jane Espenson or whatever. There are like a few writers who worked with Whedon who aren't Whedon, who could have come back and maybe done. Marty Noxon, I think, was a big one. That they could have gotten to like maybe do something with it, which I think was probably a better move. And I'm not sure why that didn't happen. I didn't. I was like, why didn't? Because there, I used to be really into the show, and I remember there were other writers, and people knew who the writers were, and I was like, why didn't they ask anybody? I'm like wondering, did they have an allegiance to Whedon or something? I don't know. I do think it would have been a better idea to have just put out the pilot because it was so much hype around it. But I do think Hulu handled this really poorly because like had you announced it was canceled like today, there wouldn't be as much press on it. But like I that's the part of this thing I do find weird, and Sarah Michelle Gellar commented on as well. Like she just finds it a little odd that how this all went down. Like why pick an executive who doesn't really give a shit about the original? Why cancel it right before like Chloe Zhao's having this big? She specifically brought up like Chloe Zhao more than her, which I think is smart. But just like I don't know, I don't get it. Like just like I don't think it's like the greatest show ever and deserves a comeback. But the handling of it was very perplexing. And to me, it's like a pretty easy like do a season and everyone hates it, you move on. But especially because it sounded like this was the first time they've been trying to get Sarah Michelle Gellar to consider it, and she actually was, and they just like went, oh, bounce. So yeah, it was kind of a mess. It was handled poorly. I think Hulu didn't know what they were doing. But I do agree. I think Mr. Coat and I were going back and forth on Blue Sky that yes, more pilots should be available. I remember in the 90s there was a bit of a pilot resurgence, I guess, where like the Sci-Fi Channel would just air like Irwin Allen made the Sci-Fi pilot, so we don't have a ton of rights and stuff. So here, and when I used to go to 90s conventions, there would be tables full of like just sci-fi pilots because there wasn't a ton of sci-fi stuff. Now it's like so different. But I remember they're like, oh yeah, there's this like they're in a spaceship or there was a Star Trek parody. I remember there was this tape that was really popular and I don't it was like a Star Trek parody commercial for like Burger King or something. And it was played at every booth that had these. And I've never looked up what it is. I don't remember if it's Burger King or like whatever restaurant it was. But it was very popular. Like every time I remember seeing it, and the guys would go on about like the history of it, which now you can make a YouTube video and people to check out. But I remember like people would be like, "Oh my fucking god, this like stupid ass commercial." So I don't know what that is. I just remember it was like this sort of Star Trek parody thing. Anyway, sorry. Um, I just think like they could have done better or released it or handled this better. It doesn't make me think great of Hulu or even like Hulu, which is under Disney under the new leadership, should have like done a better job. This is a pretty high profile show. I mean, maybe it has occurred to me. Maybe this is just a high profile show that matters to Twitter and Blue Sky and doesn't actually when the numbers aren't there. But sorry, if the numbers aren't there, why did you approve it? So it's just like I don't get it. Whatever. And supposedly Hulu has not announced if they'll like let it be released to go to other streamers. That is the question we do not have an answer to. But really handled probably one of the poorest handlings of things. I think we can all agree on that. I don't think she would come back if Joss comes back. And I've had other people say, well, they don't want to watch it if Trachtenberg comes. Michelle Trachtenberg can't come back, so they don't want it without her. So it just seems to be there isn't a fan agreement of it. So anyway, um, yes, where are we? Okay. Um, Okay, other Jocelyn, let me know. I might have to do an energy drink if I don't get a Superchat soon because I'm a little low energy today. Sorry. There's going to be a Firefly cartoon. The original cast is involved, and it's through Nathan Fillion's production company. Actually, I actually think this is a good idea because I don't think it doesn't seem like it has a home, does it? No, it's through 20th Century Fox TV and his production company. So I guess wait, so one Disney thing will happen and another one won't? Fucking Disney, Jesus. So whatever. It's weird that like this is more popular than uh is Josh. I don't think he should, to be honest with you. There's too many things about him, and I don't know. I wouldn't mind like if Buffy could get Eliza Dushku to come back. I think that would be. I've never been a big Firefly guy, and I suspect I've had a theory for a while. The reason is because I already knew I'm not like a Western expert, but I had seen a significant amount of Western stuff. What regular show? How about this? After this thing, I'll look up regular show because I'm a little lost on what you're talking about. Uh, so I never got as into it because I had watched actual westerns, and it seemed like everyone I knew who watched it hadn't, and almost everyone I've told that to says, "Yeah, that sounds like you wouldn't." So I'm always like, "Oh, okay." So I just assumed I was right about that, but anyway, I mean, I know people like it. It's cool. Nathan Fillion's trying to do it and get it back and stuff like that. And I think a cartoon show is a better. I think that's a better way to do a reboot because at least it's something different. But I'm curious like how that's going to be. But I think like maybe I do know like we talked about this a while ago that studios are a little more into I'll make an animated thing for a property that people are checking out, so there's an extra tile there for more content and stuff. And this might be like the studios like would have paid for a Buffy animated thing, but wouldn't have paid for a live action thing because that's quote unquote cheaper. But yeah, that the, Nathaniel Foga, you're right. It was a big show. All right, let me look up the regular show because I what regular show? Let's see. News. Oh, confirms a release date with a major reveal. Okay, this is on comicbook.com. Ever since writers, but I mean, I think we should have just stayed with the other show. Oh, May 11th. Okay, this summer. Okay, all right. I've considered, by the way, releasing. Wait, what's the big revelation? Hold on. What's the big revelation? It's just that it's coming out May 11th. Makes sense. Remember Benson's employees in 3 days. Oh, okay. There'll be a new trailer on Monday, so I guess next time we'll talk about that. What is the big revelation? I don't understand. Oh, so it's like all their things have been recorded. So wait, is it gonna be like a uh found footage thing? That would be interesting. Okay. I mean, it sounds like we'll talk about it more next week, but I'm okay with that. But oh, okay. Well, just a live stream announcing more, I guess. Um, I mean, I would like there to be more regular show. I'm a little like not into the Lost Tapes. I wouldn't mind if it was like Rigby, um, and like the new people who work there, and we see what's going on with Mordecai. I think that would be cooler. But I think Close Enough should have been more show. Will it be out on Laserdisc? Awesome. I mean, that's what they wanted to happen, but apparently you can't. VHS is more ready to go than Laserdisc. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. No, Rocket Lomax. I know about that Buffy cartoon, and it didn't happen. I don't know why that one didn't happen. I think Buffy's like a weird property for a lot of people. I don't know. I have not rewatched it or much of any episode since like 2004. So I was very into it. I literally got the DVDs the first day it came out, and like MST3K, I've like watched fairly consistently. Like I've watched episodes here and there and all this. But I don't know. I need a new show to like fall asleep with, and I'm sort of thinking Buffy might be it. So I'd be curious to. I might just be too embarrassed because there was one time I tried to watch it, and the man, some of that dialogue in the '90s, I was like, none of these sound like different characters to me. They all sound like the same thing, so it's like hard to watch that sometimes. And I've heard people say they hate that shit from that era, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's totally justified. Um, although Preston Sturges though from the '40s, I can fuck with that any day. But like, anyway, sorry. The rest, the Dawson's Creek stuff I have always hated, and I think I always will. All right, thank you for the super chat, Austin. All right, I wish that laser disc thing had happened. It would have been cool. Yeah, everyone tells me the Buffy thing's rough. So, all right, let's talk about the Mystery Science Theater Kickstarter ended and all the facts with it. I know we've talked about this before, and I know I'm repeating something. So if you're like, shut the fuck up, bitch, you talked about this. I'm aware that this is just to sum up everything. Their goal was to make $20,000, which I think was an admirable goal. They made 2.6 million through this Kickstarter, almost 2.7. It is officially being called Mystery Science Theater 3000: The Rift Tracks Experiments. Semi leading me to believe it's like if Rift Tracks had been transported to the Saddle of Love, but that's a theory I have that is not justified by anything. The three movies we know there's going to be four is Death Sport, Space Raiders, and Sting of Death. It's basically like everyone from the post Joel era, other than Jim Mallon, who I don't think is doing well. But Trace Beaulieu is coming back as Forrester and art director. I actually think that is probably a really cool thing for Trace because Trace is an original Mystery Science Theater person. He's obviously not going to be Crow because Bill Corbett and stuff. And I thought that was actually a really nice gesture for Trace Beaulieu. To at least get like another credit in there. I think that was very respectful of them. Nat and Box 64 really happy that One Battle After Another won Best Picture. I am, man. I will say, even though I said I wouldn't talk about the Oscars, I like that we had an Oscars year that was um, like two good movies. It feels different when you're like, oh no, the other movie I like won. Damn, like most of the time it doesn't. Cheers to you, Nat Box 64. Thank you. Yeah, but it did very well. Look, Frank Comics coming back, Mary Jo Peel, Trace, everybody. I am really curious how this is going to work. I don't mind, by the way, their idea of. I don't know if it's everyone or just the first one releasing them as Fathom events. I think that is good because I will 100% say I haven't seen a ton of Mystery Science Theater. I think I've been to 3 live shows, and I saw the reunion and I saw the movie back in the day. And those are I love going to Mystery Science Theater things with Mystery Science Theater fans. So if I could watch everyone the first time there, it's so much fun. So I'm very excited for that, to be honest with you. Even though I usually go by myself and don't talk to anyone, but I'm laughing the whole way through, so it's fine. Um, uh, yes, I do think. I mean, this is good. I think they set it lower. I think a lot of people want this to happen. I am curious what the future of this is going to be beyond it because it doesn't feel like Joel's what he was doing with the Gizmoplex years was like setting up not just more Jonah but more Emily, and this is all just thanks Austin. I'll meet you there. Um, uh, that would actually be cool. Um, uh, I don't see a lot of future, past this. And I am wondering, are we just like going to go with the nostalgia or are they going to introduce another new person? Is there going to be a Mike new person or something like that? There isn't anything like that. It just seems like they're like, we're going to give you 4 and this will just be like the Rift Tracks other thing. I also think it's like Rift Tracks is established. It sort of makes sense. But I don't know if Joel will ever come back in any degree. Stuff like that is wondering, but I do think these will be good and that'll be cool, but I am curious about what's going to happen after this. That's kind of a big question I have. But I do think they'll all make a good product and stuff. And I'm excited to, I don't know, is Death Sport the first episode? Or Space Raiders? Or I feel like Space Raiders would be good. I don't know. I feel like bad sci-fi movies with Mystery Science Theater almost feels a little too close, but whatever. All right, we also found out that Matt Braley, I believe that's how you say his name, is his Kickstarter, which was he wanted 25K, but he got $200,000. It's a Gothic horror spin on the Nutcracker. Clara, who's the girl in the Nutcracker, and she has to go and save her dad and all this stuff. It feels, I'm gonna say something, and everyone's gonna be cool about it. It feels a little like the Nutcracker, the Five Realms movie to me, but obviously done in more gothic, interesting title than the Five Realms Nutcracker thing, which I never saw. But I was like, is this that? It feels like that. I don't know. But I was like, but that also did well. Good for him that he wanted to do it. I am curious how many more independent things, as we've seen with Knights of Guinevere and Has Been Hotel and stuff. I do think that's going to be a bigger thing in animation as the mainstream studios are rejecting things. And even like K-pop Demon Hunters, like that went to streaming. So I think they're like, well, why should I fuck with people who aren't going to let me make my thing? So I'm happy for him. It does seem like a cool thing. I will not like review the Nutcracker Five Realms movie as a fuck you to this thing or anything. But I just was like, and I also know, let me say this, that things can be like other things, and that doesn't mean they're as bad as the other thing or as good as the other thing. Because I saw someone make this reel or something comparing like Sinners and K-pop and like this and that. I'm like, those aren't the same. Like you're just using a few things, but that's not how art works. One I'll bring. I may bring it up on here, but like Barbed Wire and Casablanca have the same plot. I'm not gonna act like those are the same movie or as good in quality. Are you? This is bizarre to me. Anyway, um, in other news, Cartoon Slew released a kind of teen kind of kid show or an older kid show called My Brother the Minotaur. It's from Cartoon Saloon and Bad or a Dog Ear Productions. It looks similar to their other kid show, which is like going through my head now, over my head, with the Selkies and all that. Animation wise, their TV animation does not look as good as their feature animation, but it looked cool. It's going to be on Apple Plus. We'll go through a few things, then I'm going to talk about longer things. Incredibles got a June 16th, 2028 release, as well as Lilo and Stitch got a Lilo and Stitch 2 got a May 26th, 2028 release. I'm surprised by the Incredibles 3 because that feels sooner than I thought, but I don't think it is going to be as good. I don't know. I'm like, you'd think an Incredible sequel would be easy to not screw up, and yet I hope it. I don't know. I'm not happy about either of these, and I don't know if Incredibles 3 will make that date. To be honest, so we'll see. I mean, 2028 will be a crazy one. I will say, but those two, I don't wasn't thrilled. I saw that there's various like um kind of photoshopped images of Disney slates and stuff like that are not 100% real. But those are real, and I don't know if I don't know. We'll see. So let's do Oscar ratings, and then I'll talk about the Doomsday Dune 3 thing. The Oscar ratings were down again. I was 19 million last year, about 17.9 million this year. Which is surprising because Sinners was a huge hit. One Battle After Another wasn't as big, but is well known. You had, Chalamet, you had Michael B, you had various huge people in the show. You had K-pop Demon Hunters, but it continues to slide in ratings. I know Richard Rushfield of The Ankler wrote a thing about how, like, this is like a bigger thing. Like, the Oscars need to figure this out because it doesn't seem to be the movies that are the problem. It's just the show. I agree to a point, but I do think it's going to go up with YouTube. I think the YouTube thing, like when the songwriter for Demon Hunters got cut off, I was a little like, yeah, but like YouTube wouldn't do that. And I do think like letting the Oscars just like chill and be the Oscars on YouTube might actually end up being a really good thing for them. I also think the idea that like you can watch it whenever. Um, I think starting early, the 7 o'clock thing, I sort of almost didn't like overall, but I do think like this is a thing that they are going to have to figure out. They're going to have to figure out how to, either cheapen it up or figure out how to get people to watch the Oscars more. And I don't know if it's as interesting to the average viewer as much as it used to be. And I think it's not just cinema, it's just the Oscars themselves are just not as interesting. But I do also think the bigger problem with the Oscars is like they are very against doing bigger movies that people actually want to see. Um, and I think that kind of hurts it. Even like good ones and stuff. Also, yes, I agree. March is like wait. It. I was like, man, we're still doing this. We're still talking about this. Although I think my top 10 is gonna come out in April, so I shouldn't talk. Um. All right. So the other big movie thing, and this is I think a thing that deserves to be talked about, is Doomsday and Dune 3 are coming out on the same day. I think most people were assuming that Dune 3, since we hadn't seen any trailers or posters, would move. And then it came out with the trailers and posters, and it said basically that it's coming out in December on the same day as Avengers Doomsday. And theater owners are a little like, can we just like not have them both at the same time? I am curious if there will be a resolution for this because right now it seems like nobody wants to move. I kind of think Doomsday doesn't, probably has enough problems with it, but does Marvel want to move everything back for this? Because of this release date, they normally have not done Christmas release dates for the Avengers things. It's usually a summer thing. Dune has been like, was it like October and March? So Dune's a little more of a thing, but I just don't think I don't know. I'm not in love with this thing, although it is like a long Christmas break, and so maybe people could see too. I think a lot of people don't have money to see too. I know the common thing is that well, Doomsday will move because Dune 3 has the IMAX, but like I don't know. It depends on what's more done than the other. I'm sure there's more studios hoping but both between Warner Brothers and also Amazon because they want Denis Villeneuve to move on to Bond, that they just want Dune 3 to just come out already. So I am kind of curious who's going to say. I'm a little more like, I sort of believe the Dune stuff because they want Denis Villeneuve to just get this shit done. But at the same time, I don't know. Doomsday, yeah, it's we'll see, but it is kind of crazy that they're still like determined to stay on this. Like no one's moving. I was a little surprised when I saw the posters and was like, oh, well maybe the trailer will move it, and it didn't. It didn't move it at all. It did not move at all. Okay, sorry. Um, this is this is a funny one. All right, I'm gonna take some energy drink because I need some energy. I'm sorry, but if you want me to take more, the the super chats and all that. Sorry to say it. So the latest Max Landis saga has ended. His his script was rejected by Paramount Pictures. What was his script? I'll give him this about it. I think it's in this article, and I'll read what's in here. But let me just say, I think the thing is I don't like Max Landis. I don't think he's like an interesting writer. I think Chronicle was a bit of a clearly a fluke for a lot of them. But it it's it sounded like a really good episode of GI Joe, but not a good actual movie. But here was this pitch. Like, I'll give him, like, concept wise, like, do something with this. Was the idea centered around the film's franchise villain Cobra having successfully taken over the world and reduced GI Joe to a conspiracy theory. But this is just how the big IT villain. All was this? Okay, it doesn't tell us more than that. But the idea that like Cobra took over, I guess, get it, the Republicans. But as an episode of GI Joe is like a what if kind of thing. That's a cool idea. Am I lagging? I don't think so. It doesn't look like I am. Maybe before I was. Am I? I don't know. It doesn't look like I am. But it's like a good concept for like a comic or something. But it's just like for a movie that came back. It's sort of like um Superman Returns, where it's like that would probably be a good like third or fourth movie or a cool idea. Um, but it's just like not like a good return. I get passing on it, but I do think it's like I can sort of see it, but I don't see it as like a full movie. It'd be a cool like different kind of movie, and it's not the worst idea, but it's not a return movie. I do think like he was writing like, oh, what if Cobra had taken over or something. It would be interesting if GI Joe goes into Cobra's country or something like that. I think there are ways to adapt it, but I'll give him that that's at least an interesting enough concept. But I think it's just a bad movie concept, and I think sometimes these writers don't fully think about those things. They just think about, oh, I made a cool concept. In other news, and this one surprised me, Michaela Coel, who's known for oh, I mean, she was in Wakanda Forever, but I don't think she's known for Wakanda Forever. I don't think anyone's like Michaela Coel from Wakanda Forever. She was a Coel. I May Destroy You, which I watched that show with my wife, and I watched Wakanda Forever. Those are the only things I can think of her from. But she is. This is not even a joke. She is rebooting Bloodsport for A24. Um, I like I'm so lost on like because here's the thing is like cool idea to do a Bloodsport reboot with like a different kind of person, but like I never known her for like fighting, so that's why I'm like confused. Like if she was known, like I guess she could, but like I'm like okay, I'm like kind of into her, but I'm super lost on like why she would do a Bloodsport thing. I'm like very curious. But I assume I'm like that sounds interesting, but can she like do the thing with the fighting and stuff? Okay, all right, let's do it. Um, I'm kind of like confused at this of her. Just it doesn't seem like a property for her, but that's kind of what makes it interesting. So I'm like a little like, do you what? You're into that? Okay, I mean, all right, cool. I think the difference is like there isn't really a concept. It's just like, what if she was in Bloodsport? And I'm like, that I'm okay with. Max Landis thing, he kind of sometimes you overthink something to the point where it's just you're not really thinking, you're just stupid. But I don't think that with this. I think that this could be interesting. I'm curious how it's going to go, how they're going to do it, and I would like to rewatch Bloodsport because I've not watched it since I was like a little kid. Let's go through a few of these kind of rumor things, and then we'll talk about box office. Um, oh, and there's the outcome trailer, which for some reason I put really low. I'll just talk about that in a minute. Kevin Williamson is not coming back for Scream 8, but he's also like sort of not sure, saying he has another project, whatever. Since Scream 7 is going to become, I think it's going to be the highest grossing Scream ever at a certain, which is like so weird, but okay. Supposedly Aaron Pierre or John Stewart Green Lantern is going to be in uh um is going to be in Superman Man of Tomorrow as a Green Lantern and stuff. That's been the rumor specifically. I think that would be cool to have a Green Lantern in there as well. I'm not sure what part. I do like this new superhero thing post. It's post Superman, but it seems to be where they like live in a world of superhero stuff. They don't have to introduce anything anymore, and that I like. And I like the DC interconnectedness. So the idea we're getting Superman and Brainiac and Green Lantern and also Supergirl is cool. So anyway, I also like Aaron Pierre, so I think that could be neat. So yeah. There is a rumor that Viggo Mortensen was asked about Christopher Dent. Um, I don't. It seemed like it probably won't happen. There are also rumors because Harvey Dent is Sebastian Stan that Mark Hamill would play his dad because they look so much alike. That doesn't seem to. That one seems to be an internet thing. I kind of actually like that idea, but I know like that's more of a genre thing. And it doesn't seem like he's going that way, so we'll see. And the rumor right now for the Alien Romulus director was the director of Quiet Place. Day one would be doing it because they don't have a director because Fede Alvarez and Ridley Scott did not get along. Specifically while developing the sequel, and he left. Supposedly he wanted to use Michael Fassbender's character of Michael from uh, the Prometheus verse or whatever and have him in it, and Ridley Scott was like, nah, you're not doing that. And that sort of like ruined the relationship. So, whatever. I was going to talk about that Tilly Norwood music video, but I refused. I didn't watch it, and I don't fucking care. I do think a lot of people suggested the trades are involved because there's like no actual real engagement in that stuff. It just seems like the trades are bringing it up and bringing it up, and the people involved have a lot of money, and I believe that. All right, two things that we'll talk about box office. I saw the Outcome trailer, which is another millennial comedian writes a funny thing with Keanu Reeves. Here's the thing. Stop doing that. I guess this time it's Jonah Hill who looks really unrecognizable with Keanu Reeves. I don't think either are good ideas. I think they're like people who aren't engaging in comedy and think it's like, well, what if Keanu Reeves was funny? I'm like, Keanu Reeves is funny in Bill and Ted. He's not. I don't know. I didn't see the Aziz Ansari movie. This looks like Outcome looked like a similar thing. Not into it. I do not get. I don't know. Jonah Hill's ego is like I don't get that guy at all. He used to be so fun, and now he's just like the Hollywood phony antithesis. So, and in cool news, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show is coming to MeTV Tunes starting on March 30th, I believe, at 8 o'clock in the morning. No word on if they're going to play these Zelda episodes on Friday, which is my requirement. I'll have you know, as you know, it's my requirement that they play the Zelda episodes on Friday. I am also like, yay, but is this good? Like, is it good? I don't know. I haven't watched them since the 80s. I'm like, not really. I don't know. I mean, I applaud me TV Tunes for doing it because I think that's a smart move. Like, I think people will watch it. Oh, man. I dropped all my cards. Um, uh, I applaud them for doing it. However, I'm curious, like how long, and I mean, the thing is I will say, as someone who makes stuff, like people do get really into Mario content when a Mario movie's out, so I get it. Good for you guys. Oh man, this is kind of a mess. This 52 card pickup here. All right, we're gonna talk about the. Oh, I think we will end early. Actually, this is we're going through this real quick. If anyone wants to do super chats for the break, because after box office, um, oh, they don't do Zelda stream. I was saying, I think I mentioned this in stream before. I like almost want to refuse to release. I will only release Zelda reviews on Fridays, which I don't know if that's like as known or if that was just like. Anyway, I'm curious. I did find like the ad for. I used to have this cereal. Maybe I mentioned on here. I know I mentioned in real life, where it was like two. It was one box, but it was like bags that were half the size, and one was the Mario cereal and one was the Zelda cereal, and they're very much selling them together a lot in the 80s when I was a kid. And I'm curious, like, I don't know, those were kind of their two properties, I guess, But Alan Gregory, oh my god. Yeah. Do you remember when I don't know if I talked about it here when they were making the Batman, he wanted basically a Jack Nicholson deal, and they were like, well, no, you're not that famous, and also this isn't 1989 where we like definitely we'll just go with somebody else. And like, so the rumor is he was supposed to be either the Penguin or the Riddler. He kind of had his pick, and he like demanded like an insane payday and like all this stuff, and they were just like, no, we're not gonna pay that dude. Like, I'm sorry, and like it didn't work out for him because obviously, anyway. Um, I don't know. I used to like him, and I love Superbad, but I do think he like genuinely like the Oscar nominations, all this like went to his head, and he like fucking fell the fuck off pretty hard. Um, so whatever. I also think I get I get the vibe he had some mental health issues that contributed to that, but I don't know. I have not met Mr. Jonah Hill. All right, sorry, that was my Jonah Hill rant over. All right, let's talk about the past weekend's box office because there are some interesting things. Hoppers was number one again. It only fell off 36%, which is actually really good. Animation is holding very well at the new box office, by the way. Much better than we've seen previously. Um, it went down 38%. It is actually outgrossed Elio and is holding well. It's outgrossed Elio domestic and worldwide. Most people do not think this will be a huge hit. And with the Mario movie, like I said, coming up, and even Hail Mary coming up, I do not expect this to make over 200 million in America, but it could hold for a little bit. But I don't think like, I mean, all Hoppers has to compete with is Goat. We're actually seeing it tomorrow, so hopefully I'll review next week. But I don't think it's going to be a huge hit, but it's like a good sign of like other things from Pixar. But I don't know if this March release date is that good of an idea for Pixar because like Zootopia launched at this release date, but it doesn't seem like that's really going to work out original wise in the 2020s. So maybe it would have been better to release this at a different time. But we'll see. I haven't seen it yet. What's going to happen with that? But I don't know if this March release window, especially next to a Mario movie, is as good of an idea because their movies do like hold very well. And I think if your movie's going to hold very well, you should have a better plan for success than like a month before a movie that's going to like swallow the world up. But it's at $86 million right now, and it is doing decent. In other news, reminders of him, which is the lady, whatever name the book. It's one of those. Undertone made about $9 million, which is good for that kind of movie. Didn't cost so much, so that's good for them. Um, Scream 7 continues to fall pretty bad, falling 49, almost 50%. It has made 106 million and is slowly. It's the first 2026 movie to cross 100 million, and it's close to being the biggest Scream movie. Goat is holding well, only went down 27.8%. It's at $90 million, good for Goat. The Bride fell 70%. Ouch. In other top 10, we have two re-releases, good for the re-releases. Kiki's Delivery Service, the IMAX release, made 1.6 million, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I saw in other places just the original, and others saying Secret of the Ooze. I'm lost on all that, but it made about $1.4 million. So we had actually two re-releases in the top 10. And and Anaconda, for whatever reason, added 900 theaters and didn't enter. It only entered 19, but it was previously 52 last week. Went up to 19th place. No one can explain this. Everyone's like, why did Anaconda get all these theaters? No one's sure. It like suddenly Anaconda is big again. I can anyone figure that out? If they could, let me know. I guess, but it made another 300,000 and got 994 more theaters. So it wasn't even playing them. That's bizarre. I'm so lost on why Anaconda got to have a fucking comeback. It's one of the weirdest box office stories of the week. And the other thing is 2026 is generally doing better than 2025, which is good. Why did bizarre? Like it's playing in more theaters than like Hamnet and all this stuff. It's just so weird. Yeah, no, I agree. It's like they didn't. I don't know. I think that could do well on kids generally. My kids are excited to see it. I know kids are excited to see Hoppers, but at the same time, I think we're not thinking of. I don't know. I don't think Disney's setting things up for success, but I don't think like the market is either. But then, like I think there's certain times they just let things go. Like October last year was a disaster. Like everything fell off. Like it sucked. So anyway, I'm actually out of news. I kind of thought this would happen. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a break. We were finally going to talk about the Smashing Pumpkins 1979, and then we'll just do questions, and that'll sort of be it. Although 1979 will be a little longer. I'm sorry this is a shorter stream. I just wanted to get some of the stuff before whatever is going to happen next week. Thank you all for being here. Um, I guess when we get back, we'll do that, and we can do questions and super chats and all that stuff. And oh, this is a cool Moonraker one. Like I guess this is. I don't know if this is Japanese because I'm not. I don't speak it. But look at this. Look at this. Like that's cool. Moonraker. It's a cool poster. Moonraker is not really a good movie, but I'm not a big Roger Moore guy. The Spy Who Loved Me though, great. This is really just this is the fuck around stream in a sense. All right. No, that's it. I mean, there's not much else to talk about. I will, I'm sorry. Um, unfortunately, um, Anyway, I'm gonna take a break. Then we'll do 1979, and then maybe do a longer questions if people are down. Are you all down? I will see. The award. Well, I talked about the awards before, and I talked about the Razzies too. So we're good. I don't think there's anything other awards things to talk about. I hope not. I'm sort of over the. I'm like, we don't need to be talking about this shit. Yeah, no one died this week. Everybody's fine. Everyone's good. All right. I'll be right back, and then we will talk about Smashing Pumpkins, 1979. Oh, hey, there's William Owen. I love that. Thanks for being you. Oh, that's nice of you, man. That's nice of you. I can't. Well, let me like it. Well, thank you. I guess that's a sticker. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry. Thank you for being here. Let me come back. Hold on. Do a proper cheers and we get the flashing lights. Hold on. Hold, hold on. Hello. Welcome back. Thank you very much, sir. Cheers to you. Hope you're having a good night tonight. Dune 3 swallowed Timmy's controversy. I like that. It was sort of a controversy, wasn't it? But yeah, nice to see you there, William. Well, thank you. Thanks for being you. I appreciate it. Thank you for being you. All right. What was I gonna say? Sorry, it's late on news, but I think the Oscars. I don't know if there's any too many things since the Oscars to talk about with the Oscars. I feel like we talked about everything, but I'm also sort of done with the Oscars. Although I am like make Conan the permanent host. Maybe Conan and the Muppets. That would be cool too. All right. Oh yeah. So I wanted to. I did notice this thing that's supposed to be. I'm curious about this. Having the stream go to the shorts feed. Do a lot of you watch this on mobile? How do you all watch the stream? Could you just tell me? I'm just curious because apparently if I do this like it goes to the shorts feed as well. If you're watching on mobile, it's just as a short thing, and I want to know if that affects a lot of you. Or anyway, I'm not gonna do it till I do the fuck around stream first weekend of October. No, no, April. Yeah, I'm hyping up streams. I'm gonna do that anyway. All right. Um, moving on. Generally watch on my phone. Okay, would that be obnoxious if it was a short thing? How about that? Maybe I should say you could only watch it as a short in the short format, would you hate that? That's the real question. Oh, you listen? Yeah, I get that more people listen than watch. So I'm just curious. Sorry. Uh, I heard that the IMAX thing. I mean, here's the thing. I think it's part of the tradition. Uh, um. Oh, that's okay. I didn't know you watched on TV. Super. It's almost a tradition for the Oscars to screw up the in memoriam segment. Which is that's interesting. That's I don't know. I think the IMAX thing they should have done. I forget who else they skipped, but they should like be a little better at it. But it's like impossible to do it perfectly. And I know like Jane Fonda was upset Barbara Streisand got to do the Robert Redford part. I think that's interesting. I think it's like I don't know. Wasn't the way we were not as big on release, just big in later? I don't know if Jane Fonda's Robert Redford movies are as well watched as hers, but that's a good point, Bloxy. I'm only gonna do it on the mess around stream. I don't want to do it on a regular movie crap because I don't want to screw it up. So I seem to handle it more. I don't know about that. Um, I mean they've always met. The worst one they did is they showed someone who had died and they showed a picture of her friend who was alive, like someone who'd been to that woman's funeral and was like, why did you put the wrong photo? I remember that one's the only one I'm like, whoa, dude. Whoa. Yeah. I am happy, by the way. This is just a personal thing. I thought I did Udo Kier whenever that happened. I thought I did. Anyway. Um what was I gonna say? Oh, I am happy I got to do all the animated shorts. I hope I get to do that again next year. I need to never mention that I think it's cool they I feel like I said that too many times in these, but anyway. That I like it's cool they do all this different animation, but they are kind of cool and they are major animation things. So anyway, I guess this we're probably at the last. around half hour of the show. So if you want to do super chats or super stickers or whatever, now is the time. All right. Today, as the segment, we're going to talk about the Smashing Pumpkins music video for 1979, as directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris. This is, I think, probably one of my favorite videos of the 90s, maybe my favorite Smashing Pumpkins video, and almost like the teen life I wanted to have because I first saw this when I was 12, and I was like, I would very much like my teen life to be like this. And I think um no, I agree with you, Rocket Job. I just like to test out things. So I'll just do it in the test out thing. And if it sucks, it sucks. And but I think people like listening to it. But anyway, um sorry, back to what I was saying. I do think this is sort of like almost your idealized version of what you hope your teen life could be. The song actually was Billy Corgan first came up with it about it being 12 in 1979. This song famously hit got as high as 12 on the Hot 100 Billboard charts, and the song is called 1979, which is insane. And it's also the last song recorded for the Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness album, which I didn't know that till today. Um, this I think I really like Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris. They went on to direct Little Miss Sunshine and other stuff. However, I like them as music video directors. I never really liked them as much as film directors. Frankly, I thought as music video directors they're really interesting. They also did Korn's like Freak on a Leash. They did a bunch of Smashing Pumpkins stuff and a bunch of other stuff. But I always like this, and I think it's because there's a certain I'd say this is very American Graffiti influence, like just watching kids hang out one day and night. Um, and that feeling of freedom, that feeling of flipping off your hometown. I love that it's blurred. I never like it when I can see the middle finger. I have seen it before. I always like the the blurred out thing. You hang out with these kids, and they have these cool like kind of camera rigs. They have a rig in the dome of the car, and they really do. I reviewed Ruby Sparkle. You can check out my review. Um, uh, the car camera in the car, like one of the kids had their learner's permit, and they really did drive around, and so that's why a lot of that stuff looks natural because they are actually hanging out, which is the only thing that would work in a music video. So this is kind of like arty in a sense, but like done in a very music video way. They have all these cool camera rigs where like the camera's right near their face with like the toilet paper roll while they're TPing something. The girl in the pool with that like kind of uh curve she does while she's like swimming. So many things like that. I like that one of the kids in it looks like I wrote down a toned down version. I don't know if anyone will get this. I wish Gary was here now. A toned down version of grunge from Gen 13 with his like kind of part the hair and like the green kind of nostalgia thing. And there's so much about this, like the energy to it. It's stylized, but it's very reality based. Billy Corgan in the background, all the band members like Darcy as the annoying neighbor, James Eha in the 7-Eleven convenience store, Jamie Chamberlain, who's the drummer, as the cop. Supposedly, this was Spike Jonze pitched a version of this, or what we believe is Spike Jonze, as an alien hotel thing that was going to cost a ton of money, but they turned it down. And this is the only Smashing Pumpkins video that isn't Tonight Tonight to win a MTV Video Music Award at won Best Alternative Video, which I don't think Tonight Tonight was nominated for that. I have an interesting relationship with this video now that I've gotten all the trivia and stuff done. And I wanted to talk about that with this because I really love this video. And thank you, Daniel Rodriguez. And I really loved it as a kid. And I really loved everything it represented. But as a teen in middle school, I couldn't go out. Obviously, I couldn't drive. I couldn't really do much. And every time I tried to go out, like do anything at night, like somebody's parent would like knock it down. Like you could only really do sleepovers and stuff. And I aspired to this life. And I kind of look at this video in an interesting light because I look at it as I wanted as a teen this kind of experience so much. And then when I got it later in my teens, I thought about like this video and almost recreating it. And I think there's so many people who wanted this life from this video before they experienced it. And even Billy Corgan admitted that he never really lived the life that is in this video. That this is a stylized, very natural, a very naturalistic version of it, but it's a totally fictitious version of being a teen that you aspire to, but could never truly ever live within. You know, you never really get to be in this kind of thing. I think there are some moments in my teen years I did, but I felt like I spent more of it pining to possibly be in this anytime I watched this video and wanting this to be real, but it never really was for me, to be honest with you. I just go, man, I wish I could go to a party and there's a band playing, like a TP something. There's probably a night I did actually do all these things when I was like 11th and 12th grade, which is the age these kids are, to be honest with you, you're driving and stuff like that. But man, I wanted to experience this so badly as a teen for so long. And I think it's like the idolized version of teen suburbia, but done in a very good way. You know, I love the whole idea of this video. I love watching. I love the attitude of it. I love everything like that. But it is, I don't know. It does it. I almost remember watching this and like I remember sometimes at night when I was like a teen and everyone was asleep, I'd leave my parents' house and just walk around like suburbia and hope I could find something. And oftentimes there wouldn't be anything. You know, like I'd find some kids like from afar smoking weed, and then I would just walk back home and hope one day I could live this life. And I did for a little bit in my later teen years, but it almost feels for me almost more aspirational of a thing that I wasn't sure ever truly existed. Um, uh, and eventually did, but I almost kind of remember more the pining than the experience that I could relate to for it with it, which I think is maybe a little odd. The other thing with this video, famously, is they had to reshoot it because they shot it. Someone put the tapes on their car because they used tapes, drove away, and the tapes fell off, and they all had to come back. And I think shoot all, if not most of it. I do really like this video. I think it's probably nice cornbread. I do really like this video. I think they did a really good job of kind of being, you know, one thing about the 90s, in this era of the 90s, came out in 96, is like there weren't a lot of teen movies as much as there were in like 98, 99, specifically 99. Um, not, I think you're right that most teens it was like that way. Um, and so this was like the most pure teen entertainment. What I think felt more real to me is like just hang out in a car, um, you know, just chill, you know, hang out in a car or chilling around or like not, you know, that felt more real to me than like a weird like, oh, you have a bet to take this girl out or like all this weird stuff. Um, I think stuff like that is a little more silly. This feels a little more real, even if I've admitted it's all idolized and not real. It gives you the appearance of reality, and I think that's like maybe one of the more interesting things of it is like you feel like you lived with these kids. And they made a sequel with the perfect music video, which I don't particularly like that video or that song that much, but I do think like maybe it feels the appearance of reality might be better than the appearance of a you know than the um kind of structure of a lot of those teen movies we'd see later on. And much like American Graffiti, those things always felt a lot more real to me. And when I did get to do that kind of teen stuff, it was the kind of life that I could see in that. It wasn't exactly like 1979. So I do think this is one of their great videos. I think it's one of the great videos of the 90s. And I think it really captured that kind of end of alternative music's dominance kind of thing in a perfect way. I think Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Farias did a wonderful job directing this music video, and it might be, for real with you, I think their best directed video because it's kind of style and the idea of substance, and you buy it all and believe it and believe in these teens and the song, and you want it to all be the real life you wished you could live in, even though you're 12 and you know you can't. Okay, yeah. Cool. I've been wanting to do that for a while. I had like most of these ideas written down. So the only thing I found out for this was I didn't know it was the last song recorded. I found that to be fascinating. Anyway, we're going to do questions. Sorry, this is an early show. I expected this show not to go as long. And I'm sorry I'm obsessed with the shorts thing. This is like when I was really into compilations, and I don't do that any now. So I was just like, when I have a new feature, I get curious. I apologize. I talk about that shit too much. I'm not going to do the review of the show video for Perfect. Everlasting Gaze was good, Eva Adore though. But I wanted. There's another artist, and I think you can guess, who has a movie about them coming out. I'd like to do all the videos from their biggest album leading up to that movie, because I think those videos are important too. But I'd like to throughout this year do the Melancholy and Sadness. The Zero video is under talked about, but I would also like to do that one. I think that might be, but 33 obviously, and Tonight are interesting. If you don't know 33, that'll be an interesting one. Anyway, if you have any super chats, this is your last chance if you would like to do that. Okay, I have two kind of Patreon questions. I'll do Austin's first, and Embla T or Mazel Torres has one about the Elio thing, and I did read it, so we will do that. Austin, I do have a Patreon question. Sorry. I shouldn't have copied that. Hey, Jim. Hope you're well. Good Oscar show on Monday and good show today. My question is, at the Sinners performance at Oscars, was Cornbread to stop the vampire? Where was Cornbread from stop the vampires from coming in? Was he in the front trying to stop Will Smith? Well, Will Smith is banned, so Will Smith can't even come. So, yeah, I guess he was. He was probably just working the city. He should have been there. Was he there? We don't know if he's there. I can't think if he was there. That's actually a good question. Was Cornbread there? So, again, I'm sorry to any patron that the today and tomorrow ones came out. But wait, where was Mazel Torres' question? I'm so lost now. Or was that... Okay, well... Oh, wait, he asked, what do you think happened to Michael Keaton Spider-Man? He's forever stuck in the Moore-verse and then imploded when the universe got canceled. I think that's most likely what happened. So, you know what? I read the other one. I'm going to just talk about the Elio thing, because I said I would do that. I did. Oh, hey, Embla T, thank you. Thank you for 125, whatever that is. Cheers to you. I never did the flashy lights because I was doing 1979. I wanted to be all serious. So here, you guys deserve it. Cheers to you, Embla T. All right. So what's going on? YouTube's being weird. Is it freezing? God damn YouTube. Thanks a lot. So I read what did I thought of the altered original version of Elio that was posted on this letterbox thing. It actually sounded a lot better than what we got. It's basically like Elio is supposed to go to a military camp. And when Elio goes to the military camp, there's a goes up with the aliens, but puts the double down there, and the double actually does well. But I think people aren't aware that Elio's gone or something, more so than the other one, and his mom sees the man, is YouTube getting all fucked up for y'all? This is and one of it was also, I was aware of the thing about Elio made his okay, let me start over with that. Was making clothes from beach trash basically, which I did think was kind of I thought that could have been interesting, but he was being way too weird, and the kids at school, or the military kids, didn't like him, and stuff like that, and his mom put him in this military school, and it seemed like no one was aware of what happened to him and stuff. That seemed like actually kind of interesting. It seemed like a better movie. To be honest, I think that was a better movie. I'm not sure what happened there. This is anyway. We'll just go down the questions. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the is on their streaming thing. I look fine, but then I don't understand. Now we're okay. Okay, I don't. It's like clearly a YouTube. Okay, there we go. Anyway, all right. Embla T. So we're not over with 90s nostalgia. Good. 2000s nostalgia too weird anyway. I think 90s nostalgia will probably be more of a thing, but I think if it's 90s nostalgia, I think it'll be more of the stuff that wasn't as popular, like 90s hip hop and stuff like that. But I don't know. Cornbread, have you exclusively been filming the cartoon YouTube shorts in vertical format? Have you been planning ahead so you can make a nice looking compilation when they wrap up? No, I've been shooting them in vertical format. I've thought about doing a compilation, but I'm not sure people enjoy it. I might do a ranking thing, but I'm also not sure how long they're gonna last. Like that seems to change every time I look, so I don't know. But I might do a compilation of the the shorts, but I'm not sure because they're not really that popular. I feel like the only way people check them out is in the shorts, so I don't know. It's what becomes a short and what isn't is sort of a random thing, but that's sort of just happened with it. Nathaniel Foga, thoughts on the music video Smash Pumpkins did for Batman and Robin? I was so into that song and that video that summer. It's sort of just like them in Batman's head and stuff. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but Pup, question. I bet on Sinners winning Best Picture, and now I have to pay for dinner on Friday. Have you ever made a bet you regret? I've never made a bet. I don't like making bets. I'm too poor to make bets. MBT, let's bring back the 90s and get rid of smartphones. What else? I mean, Trump probably. Black Sox Winkle, question. Yes. Alex Girev, what do you think 2010's nostalgia will become mainstream? I think it'll be a while, but I agree with people who say Dancing on My Own will be a big one. I think it'll probably be like, I don't think it'll be Black Eyed Peas. I think it'll be like, I don't know, it'll be interesting. What will be interesting to the kids with that? Embla T, what happened to the Nolanites? They were the IMDb message board, Crystal and fanboys, somewhat similar to the Snyder Bros. I sure remember this. I think they just love Interstellar. Man, that is one that like nobody really liked that when it came out, and now it's like a classic. When the fuck did that happen? I really don't understand the revisionism with Interstellar. I'm like, I'm not watching that again. I watched it once. I didn't particularly. I was like not super into it. I'm not going back. Leave me alone. Gravity, the Quran movie, I'd watch it. I haven't watched that not in an IMAX theater. That one might be interesting, but I saw it twice in IMAX. It was fucking awesome. Not plausible. Do you have a favorite character realizes they are a fictional character moment? Um, Probably like something from I feel like Mystery Science Theater or no, I'm gonna say Daffy Duck in Duck Amuck. That would be the best one. Black Sox Winkle. We have Pac-Man, but what other arcade icon deserves to be a multimedia franchise? I think more so. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, I am back. I would say I'm surprised there isn't more Metroid stuff. I'm surprised about that, to be honest with you. Okay. What's the best bait and switch? Bait and switch. The end of Road Warrior. The end of Road Warrior. That's an amazing bait and switch. Question with the Stewie show happening, what Simpsons characters would spin off? I don't want a Simpsons character to have a spin off. Please don't do that. I like that they don't. That is, they do the thing. They this. I don't know. Wait, where were we? I think that's a thing that Family Guy would do, but Simpsons would. Simpsons would turn down the thing. Family Guy too. I think Simpsons is the '90s band. Family Guy is a 2000s band. The 2000s band will do the weird remixes to make a more popular hit, and The Simpsons are the '90s band who would never do that. That's what I think of it. The Sims. I noticed Family Guy takes the deals. The Simpsons definitely a turn down. Cornbread. You notice you called the clowns the fool's clowns. You call them creatures. Is this harboring your true feelings on clowns? Yeah, sure. Sorry the stream was being all weird. All right. Well, wait. Okay. Question: anything you're hoping to see in Sonic 4? I mean, we don't really know what's going on with the robot Sonic, so um, have you ever seen Eddie and the Cruisers? No, that used to be a bigger movie. I haven't heard about that in a while. So yeah, MLT Conan's joke about vertical cinema, does that give you flashbacks to Quibi? I didn't like that as much as the uh the cinema thing. But I think I talked about that before. I do like the Marty thing. I think I said exactly what I said before. Cornbread. Okay, serious fool's question now. You understandably questioned its viability of being a series, but my take was, as is dialogue potentially rich international is bigger. No, I mean the thing with the cartoon thing is I think you always have to ask, would this be a series? Because that's what the successes of it are. But I have thought like maybe I shouldn't be reviewing it that way as well. Like couldn't they just make a short? So I don't know. I do will say when this is all over, I would like to do the first What a Cartoon as a short thing, and then the first actual cartoons because What a Cartoon and cartoons are separate. Like Powerpuff Girls was not a cartoon. Same with Dexter, so I wouldn't mind doing those after. Um, but I do sort of like doing the cartoon shorts and the short thing because it seems like that works out well. But we'll see. Favorite thoughts on that? What did I just wait? I think I answered that. I'm not sure. Favorite MST3K short. It used to be Mr. B Natural, but I question if that's like not as cool now. I mean, Shake Hands with Danger is not an MST3K short, but that is an insanely great riff tracks. If not that, then Hired, yeah, Hired. Isn't that before Manos? That's a really good one too. Um, yeah, it seems like I guess Interstellar aged better for people. I don't know. Remember the clown saying Zemblanti? I do. That is whatever. Have you ever seen Earth Girls Are Easy? Austin, yes, I did actually. Back in the '90s, when it was like, oh, this person, the Wayne's brother and Jim Carrey were in this, and I think it's Goldblum. It was like it got a lot of play on TV because they were bigger in the '90s, but that movie was from the '80s. So, Amla T. Hope Project Mary's success would spread speedrun Villeneuve's Revenants with Ranma, then jumping over another Bond. Could that happen? I know. I think that'll. I don't know, but I don't think it'll happen before Bond. I don't know what's going. A lot of people asked me about Bond recently. I don't know what's going to happen with Bond at this point, but I think like that's sort of why I think Dune 3 won't move because two studios are like, let's get this guy fucking done with so we can get another Dune and all that. Was The Rock snug for Smashing Machine? Also, you think his movie with Scorsese will ever happen? I actually have heard a couple things that is going to happen after the movie's doing now with Leo and J Law. That like it's not as done as people think it is. We'll see because Scorsese has a ton of unrealized projects, but apparently it is still in discussion. But I don't know. No, I remember what you were saying about it, Cornbread, and I agree. It sort of has sort of a weird preschool vibe to it, which I kind of like. So, okay, we did actually pretty much a full show. If anyone's have any super chatties or questions, but otherwise, I think we'll probably end for now. There will not be another stream till next Thursday. I do not know because there's a lot of like stuff for like a birthday party if there'll be a video tomorrow or not. But there'll probably be something. I would like to get that review of an actual live action movie soon ish, but we'll see. But man, this is Flashlight. It also does strobing. Well, no, not strobing. What was the other thing it did? Smooth. Smooth. Like, wow. Anyway. Alright, sorry. Thank you for this loosey goosey stream. I hope you guys dug it. I hope I'm not annoying you too much with doing two of these. But yes, let's give a shout out to the people who did give super chats during the, or whatever these are all called. Special shout out to Ransam Film, Bloxy Oxwinkle, Medella Butterfly, Nathaniel Fogo, Austin, Nat64, William Elman, and M Blood T. Thank you very much for that. Cheers to y'all. Check out Discord is watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Have a good weekend. I think there will be stuff this weekend. There just might not be something on Friday, but then we'll return to regular. But thank you all for coming out. Thank you everyone for those super chats. Have a good night. See something cool this weekend. You know, everything like that. I think I'm just gonna go. I'll see you all later. Have a good night. And peace out. And see you next time. All right.